Antimatter, the Dogon people, magic, the black eye, looking from darkness into the envirus mind, the God eye, melanin, stress, and like I said, antimatter. It's very interesting to me because my girlfriend is named Antigona, so it has something to do with the perception of the human mind and the human brain. So you look from within, outside. So I speak from the pineal, from the mountain, where I sit on top, no matter where I am. And it seems like it's also some kind of baggage to me, but also it's how I introduce everything to these humanoids that are envirused with the black mirror. Now maybe I should have a different image to this whole thing, because this is how consciousness works. Consciousness works as a mirror. So the only thing that I'm facing is always myself, no matter what, in what kind of people, what kind of comments. So this is basically only a representation to myself, which I can't seem to enjoy. So antimatter is basically describing the black hole, which is the pupil, which is the depths of your blackness. So antimatter is the occultum that basically everybody carries inside of their skull. But in this realm here, many beings are only scratching on the surface, and they are not going in deep, so they are not finding out what lays within. And this is why they don't maybe have these breakthroughs that I have, because I see the empty field work. Because this is all, nothing is real, and this is the only way to become God, to fight against human thought, because human thought tries to survive in here. And this is why I'm doing audios, because you would be like, oh, he looks like this. No, you would just listen to my voice, listen to what I say, listen to my resonance and the way I represent it to you. Now, antimatter is the thing that looks out from you. Antimatter sits in your skull. It is the black thing. It is the melanin. It is the stress that you don't like. So this is why humans always want to relax in something. And it's not that I would like to control you. That's not in my interest. Although I know that I'm doing it, because this whole shit is an illusion. It's not real. It's only my own thought patterns that I mirror out and that I seem to have an attachment to, because this is a game, and the only way to win the game, this is what one of my colleagues in school told me today, the only way to win the game is not to play the game. So to get completely rid of all fucking attachments. So I'm not attaching my mind to anything. I'm like, yo, you know what, fuck it. It's completely chaotic, and this is how everything gets ordered. And I also I would say punctual chaos is the way to go. Because otherwise it's way too much. I mean, it's much too much for everybody, and they can't handle it, and this is how the whole thing breaks apart. And maybe eventually something new will grow out of it. This is how nature works. But I mean, these mirrors are basically representing to you in a very good format how you are. Still, you might not even get what I'm saying because you think it's real. But like I said, I certainly know that all these beings around me are just mind actions of myself. They are thought patterns, they are mind aspects, abstract mind patterns of me in identified form. And this is not to tell you that I'm the last pharaoh standing, but I'm telling you, yo, this is how the freaking shit works. This is how consciousness is. This is how consciousness operates. Consciousness always operates in this fashion, in a mirror. And this mirror depends on your depth. So on the degree of the stressing that you were putting yourself under in order to then figure out your own alchemy to produce melanin, which is a substance that sits on the bottom of your spine, and you stress that, and then it eventually will rise into your head, into your top, and then you start to see all of these things. Now, very truthful techniques to produce more melanin, what I would say from my journey here would be sun gazing, Shivamukalpa, which is urine therapy. That means that you just drink urine, you just apply it onto your skin, you put it into your ears, you drink it through your nose, you put it into your eyes. And, then all of these beings have certain questions, like, can I do it when I eat this? Can I do it when I have done that? Can I do it when I'm on this diet? And whatever, I don't deal with any diets because the word diet means deity. So your diet is your deity. That's what alchemy tells you. Alchemy is the science. I don't deal with science. I deal with signs. So I deal with sign language, because sign language is basically what the mirror consciousness is. And this is the highest form of imagination or magic, or it's real-time alchemy. It's real-time, it's direct time reflections that always occur. But that depends on the layer of your depth, or if you can decode it or not. Now, this also gets into antimatter, and basically, black, like Black Lives Matter, or Orange is the New Black, or the black hole, the black pupil, the black eye, the black schematics, the Africans, the Dogon people, that the Dogon people have long legs, or they walk around on these, how are they called, on these sticks, because they are very long, tall, like long-headed. And this is the connection to your pillar, which sits on top of your head, which also gets into different cultivation practices. For example, Falun Gong, which is talking about, all these religions are basically fake because they give you only certain puzzle pieces of the true aspect, which is always yourself, which is always your own mirrors, your own outputs, your own imaginations, your own belief systems. Your belief systems are created out of darkness. Your belief systems are created out of the journey that you went through. Now, of course, I have different... I should love what I do. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it, That's why I'm sitting here like an abnormal being. I'm drinking urine and distilled water and coffee. Of course it's hidden, but I speak open about that because I know this is the most intelligent thing to do. I know. Still, I participate in everything that society does, including these dumb-ass vaxxers and, maybe it's not even dumb. because I flip trick it around, and I know how powerful words are. I know what language does. I know how language works. I know how the human body is a sound resonator for creating its own reality, and it's happening each and every single moment. So what you are, what you would like to do, is dependent on your depth. And I mirror these things out. I put them for free onto the internet because I don't know if I'm the only one here. Maybe I'm the only one here at that level. But this is why I'm mirroring it out transparently. And maybe I'm doing a fucking lot of harm with it. But if I do so, I know at the end, even if I would do harm, I would do good, because this is how melanin is produced. Melanin is produced through the stressing aspect of your soul. Because you're like, fuck, I do something here. I do something which was never the thing that I was used to do. And see, I basically not traveled physically so much in the last years since I'm doing all of these shit talks here on YouTube. But I've traveled in my soul, and I know that life is basically a spiraling up process. Now it's a loop. It's a looping consciousness. So it seems like we run around in circles all the time, but in a 3-dimensional or even 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, infinity-dimensional space, you are a donut. So that means you are already empty. You are already the antimatter. You are the darkness. Everybody carries the darkness in their own skull. So what you do in here is you create your own universe via walking around on your own heart, walking around on your own earth, because earth is an anagram for heart. Now you face your own consciousness. You face your own ideas here on earth. That's what I do. And see, I don't know if anybody else is real. Still, I'm mirroring it out as transparent as I can, because from my point of view, this is about, sure, also making something tight or compressing something, but at the same time, opening it up, let the genie out the bottle. So this is how I become freaking massive. So this is how I can see these beings beautiful beings walking around in my own mirror. And if I take care about my own appearance, how I look, what I represent to the world as a mirror, that's also what I get mirrored back. This is this constant act of what you mirror out is what you mirror in. What you see is what you get. What you create in your darkness is then mirrored out in the process of your brain. And this is how you break through. Because many beings are saying you're dumb, you're retarded. Now basically is you are only retarded when you scratch on the outer surface, if you look for something on the outer, because the workings are flipped. You create in the darkness, you create in the emptiness, in the empty torus field, you create in the eye of the storm. And now from that on, everything else around you gets structured. And in the eye of the storm, it's always very calm. There is no movement. There's no mind. There's literally nothing. There's complete emptiness. And from there on, if you know that spot, if you know that darkness, if you know that falling, this is where you will get, probably in the end, You will get to the melanin. You will get to the seat of the soul, to the seat of the dark light. And once you are there, then you realize your infinity amount of potential. And then you also realize that basically this journey is a consciousness game. It's a hyper game, or it's an imaginational realm. It's a mirror consciousness. It's a hall of mirrors, the halls of Amenti, where I sit in and then I see my own thought patterns all the time. I make everything spiritual, everything that I see, everything that I look for. So many beings are retarded, and basically what we do is we try to help you to activate the melanin because you do not want to be stressed. You have not walked the certain path to create as much blackness in yourself, to make yourself bone marrow condensed strong, to then die so many times to do this real-time magic. Now what you do is you basically put that onto the black screen and you create an image over there which represents something to you. And it's just great, it's basically the complete same how reality works, but everything seems to become so much digital. Everything seems to become so much artificial. And see, this is why I am talking about piss drinking. This is why I have abnormal behavior. This is why I tell you to burn out your fucking eyes, your fucking human thought forms via sun gazing. And no, you will not get blind. You will start to wake up. And then you start to see the maya. You start to see your own illusions. You start to see that you only face your fucking self in here. And you start to wake up your soul. And that's what I get freaking goosebumps in my whole fucking body here. This is what a shaman does. I'm saving your fucking soul. Basically, I'm not doing it because I only give you the freaking techniques. I only give you the freaking blueprints. And even if you have I have more than one view. And that's already enough. That's already enough because it's only about the certain type of resonance, how I organize the freaking ether net. And I'm already doing it even if I would not upload this shit, if I would just talk to myself. But somehow it is a very good opportunity to record myself and to hear my own voice in my head. So this is how I increase also my mental powers and also, I don't want to control anything. I know that I certainly cannot do it, but I certainly also know that this whole thing is a freaking game. And money is something that, it's fun, it's tokens, but if you really know what consciousness is, if you know what your soul is, if you know why you're here, you ever ask yourself, why are you here? And then people tell you, oh, it's about the love thing. Yeah, certainly yes. But if you then realize deeper aspects of yourself, if you start to fast, and I know these things that I'm doing are very abnormal. They are very high level. They are very advanced. Not many beings could ever do it. But still, I'm talking about this because the only thing to keep going, to push through, to, I was talking about that yesterday. We create artificial or illusionary blockages of ourselves that we have to break through because otherwise, this whole field is already empty. You would start to realize that if you would hold urine in your mouth and you would start to gaze into nothing. You just observe yourself in your surroundings and you would start to realize, well, this whole matter, even if it would be artificial or in nature or whatever, consciousness always recreates itself. But it's basically a grid already. It doesn't matter if it would be 3,000 years ago or if it would be in 3,000 years or if it's now. Spell now differently. So you would have an WON or you would have an NOW, or you would have an NWO, so a New World Order. And the New World Order is talking about creating your own force field. And the New World Order is exactly about realizing who I am, what I am, why I'm here, and why I'm doing these fucking shit talks in nowhere, in the desert. You know, you say like Jesus walked for 40 days in the desert. I'm walking since 27 years in the desert, but I woke up a few months ago. And I mean, to cut down the material intake, to cut down the consumption patterns is a very good thing. Reduction is a very good thing because it starts to stress your body. And this is how you increase melanin. This is how you tap into your own alchemy. And through this, you start to tap into your jumping abilities, which also gets into the Dogon people, or maybe the black ones, Michael Jordan, 23, MJ, Michael Jackson, or, you know, John Michael Schuneman, JM, you know, MJ, or JJ, GG, or whatever, you know, what are names? Or we could talk about Donald Trump card. We could talk about magic. We could talk about beings who get certain vaccinations, or beings who stop the melanin production in themselves, who do not have abnormal behavior. Only through abnormal behavior is how we create mutations. Only through mutations we do something completely new. This is what we want to do. This is how we build up the edge. You should always be on the edge and create from there. And of course, if you are on the edge, there is only antimatter, because you are already on the edge. Now, from the edge on into the next thing, there can only be nothing. So if you have to go into nothing to create something new, and of course it's freaking dangerous, or it's freaking, I mean, it's not dangerous, it's maybe scary, but you know, sometimes you get scars, and then you can heal yourself because you are the universe, because you can put pee onto that, and then you start to heal. So antimatter and melanin production, be weird and stay calm. 23.